Joining me now, Republican strategist, former White House political director Ed Rollins, who's been away from this broadcast for a few weeks. It is great to have you back.
Thank you very much, Lou.
You look terrific, and we're delighted. Errol Louis, you look terrific. We're also delighted to see you, but we saw you just a couple of days ago.
Very true.
With the Daily News, we want to say as well, good to see you, Robert Zimmerman, and I guess since I've started this, I've got to keep it going. You look great.
I don't look as good as the two of them.
Contributors. Well, Ed, how you've had a little experience with the healthcare system. How are we doing?
Well, it's a very complicated issue, and I think what's not clear to the public yet is, A, what is this thing going to do and how much is it going to cost? Seniors obviously are worried about losing benefits that they presently have and have been committed and have been paying for a long, long time. Others basically worry about how it will affect the insurance, the 180 million people who have insurance. And the reality is no one has basically talked about really who are these people, the illegals or the non-illegals who don't have health insurance, who's going to pay for that occur? And the more fundamental thing, are there sufficient doctors and hospitals out there who can treat all of these people? And the only thing that people have talked about is cutting back on hospitals, cutting back on doctors' payments. And if you go sit and talk to a doctor today in his room, most of them aren't very favorable for this program.
Yeah. You know, Errol, we look at this thing. What's going on with this White House? They send out a message on the public option almost 2 weeks ago. Then they walk it back. Then this weekend, they send out Sebelius, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and she says, well, it's not essential to have the public option. Then today, they're walking that back. Is this some sort of extraordinary political strategy that we need to understand better?
I don't know if I'd call it a strategy, but I think they have overlearned. I think they've overlearned the lessons of 1993. You know, when the Clinton White House said, "Here's the plan, and take it or leave it." It was the beginning of the end. Well, they've given it to Congress, and they said, "You guys figure it out." And so they're.
You really believe Rahm Emanuel and his brother are not intricately involved in every ounce of this thing?
Rahm Emanuel has this saying: "Put points on the board. Get what you can get." And so they're trying to figure out what they can get, which is not everybody's definition of leadership.
He is quoted, by the way, Rahm Emanuel is quoted more than the President of the United States. What's going on? I mean, is he in charge of this every initiative here?
First, can I just say, welcome back to the chairman of the Board of Political Strategists and Political Pundits.
Absolutely.
It's just great to be with you. And so I'm thrilled that you're back with us. But as far as healthcare debate goes, I have a different perspective. I think it's actually proceeding pretty well, and I'll tell you why.
Well, that's super. But would you mind addressing the Emanuel issue, why he's being quoted more?
Well, I don't think he is being quoted more. I think Barack Obama does a better town hall meeting than Rahm Emanuel does, and is certainly a lot more patient in responding to the questions, for sure. But I really don't think he's calling the shots here. I think what you have is really a negotiation process going on, and really a national debate happening. And I think that's a very healthy issue. We're not seeing this matter divided by partisanship. There's really a philosophical debate happening in the country and in the Congress, and I think that's encouraging.
You're encouraged by the fact that opposition is rising to the president's proposals, that his approval ratings are declining. Square that up for us.
I think he's really always been a closet Republican, and I think he dresses like one, and I think to a certain extent it's finally coming true. You know, I think the bottom line is there was not a plan, and anytime you let the Congress try and draw a plan, you can end up with multiple plans. The biggest reorganization this country's ever done was the Northeast Rails. Remember the Conrail system way back? Department of Transportation put that back. Labor had a piece, what have you. And they ended up with something that worked pretty well. The Department of Health and Human Services should have studied this, come forward with a plan. There is no Obama plan. There's a Hill plan. It's a House plan. We don't even know what the Senate plan is. And I go back to the point, nobody knows what it's going to cost.
Neither does Max Baucus.
But you know, nobody knows what it's going to cost. Nobody knows who's going to benefit. Nobody knows who's going to be penalized by it. And I think until you answer those questions,
well,
we're going to
answer those questions in very detailed order. But first, we're going to be right back with our panel. But first, here's Campbell Brown to tell us what's coming up on her show. Campbell.
Hey there, Lou. When we see at the top of the hour, can we really believe that Michael Vick is a changed man? The NFL star has apologized repeatedly for dogfighting, but is this really just getting back in the game? We'll talk about that. Plus, you mentioned that attack on the mayor of Milwaukee. He was beaten while trying to defend a grandmother and a baby who were under attack. We're going to talk to his brother about how he's doing. And also, the British government opening up its secret files on aliens and UFOs. We kid you not. We'll have all that. Plus, as always, our mashup of all the top stories of the day coming up right at the top of the hour, Lou.
Thank you very much, Campbell. And we'll be back with our panel here in one moment. We'll answer all of those questions that Ed asked just a moment ago. We're back with our panel. I want to turn to Robert Zimmerman very quickly before we get to some of those questions. But they dropped, the Obama White House dropped the flag at White House, at the whitehouse.org.gov. After all of the outcry, it's just what's going on with this administration. It just seems like it's false start after false start.
I can't speak to what happened to the flag on the website. But I don't think we have to worry about the patriotism of this White House or of this president.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean the flag. I'm talking about flag at whitehouse.gov, which is the snitch site where you turn in your neighbor for detecting something fishy about the Obama health care plan.
First of all, no, the idea was to get questions answered, get the facts out there.
Oh.
Otherwise, you have people like Sarah Palin and her colleagues making up lies about the Obama health care plan.
You mean there were lies about
especially when she championed the idea as governor of Alaska about providing elder care guidance.
Errol, we are in desperate need of neutral, objective counsel.
I think objectively, I would say that they decided not to bring a pea shooter to a gunfight, that they decided to fight back and it worked during the campaign to sort of contain rumors and control the spin and give people something to do if they wanted to get involved in this big fight.
The President of the United States was outgunned, outmanned, and out-resourced in a battle for public attention and was the underdog in all of this.
I don't know.
And therefore, they created the site.
I don't know about the underdog.
Healthcare reform is always the underdog.
I'll tell you, if you also look at these ads that are running now, this $12 million ad buy that they've done, you know, they are making clear that they're not going to just get steamrolled. Again, learning, perhaps overlearning the lesson of 1993.
The other thing you have to always worry about, we're still in a very severe economic crisis. And when you start putting additional burdens on employers, small or large, and you have to remember that 164 million employees receive health benefits, then and nobody has talked about the long-term ramifications this will have on creation of jobs.
Is there not the possibility here that this administration has misjudged badly the priority for the country when we are in recession, when we are watching joblessness rise, 30 million people without jobs, and we're having a debate that at times looks in fits and starts. It looks disingenuous rather than transparent. It looks constrained, contrived rather than open. Is there that possibility?
Well, the USA Today Gallup poll really reinforces your point, where people do not feel they are getting any real benefit to the stimulus package. And I think to some degree, it's expectations that have to be managed.
Well, we should point out that this administration has moved out $100 billion into the economy. That's half of what? Into a $14 trillion economy is, quote, stimulus with straight faces. That's half of the money they put into AIG, Errol.
Well, I mean, look, they're moving on the stimulus. The public's not buying it. I think, though, now is the time for reform, not later.
Excellent. We appreciate, gentlemen, having you all with us. And Ed, welcome back again, partner. Thank you. A reminder to join me on the radio Monday through Fridays for the Lou Dobbs Show. Go to loudobbs.com to get the listings in your local area. We appreciate that. And follow me on Twitter on loudobbsnews.com. And on today's broadcast, by the way, Congressman Eric Mass of New York defending his statement that he'd vote against his constituents' interest on health care and the public option. That's the show for tonight. We thank you for being with us. Next, Campbell Brown.
CNN Primetime begins right now.